so I did have one more thing. So we got a motor build coming up, and we have pretty much all the parts for the motor build except the main caps. And as y'all know, we're trying to make our own, so we need to get back on that, get that finished. But there's one thing that's kind of there's a few things bugging me, but one of them is the fact that the motor that's in the car now it's not broken, it's just like wore out. And the thing that's wore out right now, I believe, is the cylinder walls. Like the rings to the cylinder walls aren't sealing great. When you do a compression test, the back cylinder, like they're all kind of a little low. I think they all test around 150 or 140, but that back one is like 120 or 130 or something. They're all low, but the back one's down more than the others, which is common on high-powered Miatas. Probably common on all Miatas, but we were wanting to change something. So this motor we had it built well, and we used Wiseco pistons with their XX rings, and they seem to work pretty good, but they did kind of wear out. And I've got some theories as to like the cause of that. So for example, we ran the motor pretty rich and kind of washed the cylinders down. I did a bunch of testing a few years back. I was doing some development, and we had a lot of mistakes where fuel got in the cylinder, like very large, like enough to hydrolock it. So I know I ran the car where it had fuel diluted oil, thin oil, hot oil. Anyway, we did a lot of bad stuff, so that could be part of the reason it wore out. Also, we did run 30-40 pounds of boost. That probably didn't help. But I ended up contacting Total Seal, a company that makes piston rings. They probably make other stuff, but I think they're known for their piston rings. I contacted them and told them, I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I did, my motor kind of wore out after a while, these are the rings I run, do you offer anything better? And they said yes. They said they had a better ring that I could run that would be more durable than what I'm running now. And I ended up getting on the phone and talking to him, and yeah, I was kind of convinced that they cost more. I forget, they gave me a discount, but I still paid about $250 for a set of rings. So not cheap, but they're a different material. They're supposed to be stronger, and then they have a vapor deposition coating on the edges, which is supposed to reduce wear. I believe what that is the ring is so hard that if you were to put that directly in the cylinder and it was touching, it would just wear the cylinder out. So they put that coating on there to cut friction. I think that's actually what that's for. But anyway, they're supposed to be better. The top ring's different, so the top ring's like a real hard stainless that's, instead of being a nitrided steel ring, it's like I forget what he said, I don't have it written down, but it's like a really, really hard one with a vapor coating on the edge. And then the one below that, he said, is a tapered ring instead of a Napier. He claims those work better and last longer. And I don't remember about the oil control, it's probably the same. Anyway, we got those ordered today. They're not going to be here for probably a month or so, which is fine, because we ain't going to have our main bearings done before that. But that's just one more piece of the pie. One more thing that, we try to make some improvements here and there. It's like this will be motor 10 that we're about to put together. So, we're looking, every time we build a new motor, we want to, make a few changes to either up the power and up the reliability. And this is, my hope is that this gives us more ring wear, more ring life. So talking with him, the gentleman I spoke with, his name was Lake Speed Jr. He was telling me some other interesting stuff about ring durability, like cylinder walls and stuff. So the surface finish in the bore, I never really thought of it, but basically if the cylinders are like too smooth, then they don't hold enough oil, and that oil is what lubes the piston rings. And then when you run a lot of boost, there's a lot of fuel in the cylinder, it washes the oil off. So basically, like, the more power you make, the rougher you kind of need the cylinders so they hold more oil, so that the rings can do their job. I'd never heard any of that, so that was interesting to hear. So it gave us something to think about. So let's see what else. We made another purchase, kind of unrelated to the car in some ways, but I have a PCB software I use called OrCAD Professional. That's what I use to do all my board development, and went ahead and got the updated version of that. So I dropped, I don't remember, 700 or so. Yeah, about $700 on that. So hate to spend the money, but sometimes you have the right tool to do the job, and the software is a couple years out of date, and it was kind of the right thing to do to get the updates. So we made that purchase too. But hey, we'll use that on the car though when we start developing some of our custom electronics. some of the things on that diagram you saw are going to be developed with that software. We're not just going to bodge. Well, I don't think we're going to bodge it together. I think we're actually going to do a little bit of planning and get a custom board made. So, like, again, you know, we're trying to go for reliable, and just bodging stuff together doesn't hold up. I've actually done that in the car when I was when I removed some of the stuff that was in the car. There was a couple of instances of embedded systems that I had previously built and just bodged them together, and I don't think any of them were